ask you this. Are they riding 6-4s with trues and 8 decks? Kilos, they got you with that vet that I know stilo.
So you made it to the Christmas special. All right, man, we're gonna be talking about what you can update for your hydraulic setup. You know, you send this to that significant other when they have no clue what the fuck to get you. You know, if you ain't that easy to shop for, I'm mad easy to shop for. I just want Pesco EQs. If you got a Pesco EQ number 8 ports all the way around, yo, holler at me. I'm mad easy to shop for. That's all I want. And, you know, I got those Pesco, you know, those end caps, those slotted end caps. But if you're not as easy as to shop for as me, I'm gonna tell you some things you could do. You know, if you go to hoppos.com, and then you go and we're gonna update some stuff. If you got a basic setup, you know, it came, you know, they come with some basic things. So it's a basic setup, and we're gonna update some of those pieces. The first thing I would update is the dump. If you can get a square from Andy, I would pick up a square from Andy. But if you can't, that's where you go with Hoppos. You go with Hoppos that zigzag. You know, the zigzag slowdown is a Delta slowdown, but it aesthetically looks 10 times better than any other Delta out there. And let's say if you don't like that zigzag style, they actually have bodies that are anodized. You can get a couple different colors depending on what kind of car you have, what color it is. It's a nice little touch. But personally, preferably, I would go with that zigzag style Delta if I can get a square. They are pretty aesthetically pleasing. You know, you polish those things out as soon as you get them. And then, you know, they actually have the end cap on top of the cover for the Delta. You know, you can go with the Bullet, you can go with the Stillman kind of style, and I believe they have something else. Bullet, Stillman, and it's out there. I can't remember what they have, but there's another one. You know, but you change out that little top piece, you polish it out. It's a nice little thing to upgrade, you know, so your dumps look a little bit better. Second thing to go to is that slowdown. If you ordered your setup from Hoppos, you're gonna have some basic style octagon slowdowns. Octagon slowdowns are a step up from brass fitting, which are the T slowdowns, which are dangerous and you should not be riding on. If you got some of those in your car right now, bro, stop the video, go to hoppos.com and literally order you a slowdown. And you can rock with the octagon ones for now. But if you already have an octagon, you want to upgrade, you want to go grab a zigzag slowdown. The zigzag slowdowns are pretty nice. You want to polish them out as soon as you get them. If you look at the top, you know, there's a nice little faucet on there. It actually says Hoppos on there. It's a nice little touch. With the acorn nut, you know, it's a nice little touch on there. Those are all little things that, you know, Hoppo does that aesthetically sets them apart from other people. But the slowdowns, bro, slowdowns are probably one of the biggest things that I look for when I'm looking at a setup. You know, you got squares, you'll look for those, you'll look for slowdowns, and then everything else kind of falls wayside. But if you got octagon slowdowns, bro, upgrade those things to faucets. They look aesthetically pleasing when you're in a truck. It looks just so much better. So we're looking for those aesthetics, and they're safer too. Granted, I don't know of many cases of the octagons having many fail issues, but I do know of the brass fitting ones having fail issues. So definitely would not recommend those. But you know, you go into Hoppos, you know, and you go grab you some of those slowdown, and you got the zigzag tees to match. So aesthetically, those two are pretty similar, and they're going to be matching. So you got those. So when you're actually running everything, it's going to look pretty symmetrical. The other thing that you can go with, if you go with the slowdowns, you know, they have the tank plugs. You get the big nut tank plugs, which are actually 3/8 port, but they welded a big nut, or I mean, it's threaded for a 3/8 port, but it's a big nut on there. It's a nice little touch. It looks pretty nice. And then you could also go with the faucet style ones. It just ties into the actual, you know, faucet slowdowns. Plus, let's say if you're on the side of the road somewhere, you know, we've all been there, and you're like, fuck, I gotta put some oil in there. You know, sometimes they have the Allen wrenches ones, depending on, you know, who you got your tank from. Bro, fuck that. Just go ahead and get you a little faucet one. You can do it by hand when you're there, and you're done. That's a nice little touch that you could go and add to your trunk. So those are, you know, some nice. Those are actually really inexpensive. The plugs, those are pretty hot. You know, I like those. If I had a gate setup, those are something that I definitely would run with. I like those aesthetically. I would also run with some motor bands. You know, you grab you some motor bands. I know I got a lot of cats out there in Chicago that watch my shit. I love Chicago. Chicago loves their traditional shit. Motor bands come from the Fennerstones. The Fennerstone motors were actual Presto lights. Presto lights were actually made in Toledo, Ohio, which is like a stone's throw away from here, about 1 hour away. They used to make them over here in Toledo, and you know, they had the motor band on them, and then, you know, you had the little green tag on there that say made in Toledo, Ohio. But you know, the motor bands, they aesthetically add another layer of depth to that motor. Motors are pretty plain aesthetically. I mean, you could upgrade your motors. There's a couple different motors on the market, but you know, you hop on hoppos.com, you know, you get your motor right and you get your motor band. The band looks, you know, aesthetically pleasing on there. And then you go and grab your end cap, because the end caps typically are black. You know, they got that little knob on there for the bearing for the motor. You got the Stillman style, pretty hot. You know, you polish that thing out, it looks pretty good. You know, if you don't know who Stillman is, man, Stillman is an OG in the motherfucking game. Man, OG Stillman, it's in his name. So I mean, just know that's where the end cap came from. Those are pretty hot. You could also go with the bullet ones. They got bullet with perforated holes, and then they got the bullets without it. And then you could also run, they have like the slotted kind of old school looking style ones. Those are pretty cool too. I mean, you got your pick. My biggest recommendation though, I've seen it time and time again. Sometimes people buy these parts and they just put them in. Take a second and just polish that shit out, and it looks 10 times better. And you know, when you look at chrome and you see something that's polished, they look pretty close. But if you got raw billet and you also have chrome, bro, it looks like, kind of looks like ass, in all honesty. And it only takes a couple seconds, in all honesty. All you need is, you know, get you a buffing wheel and you get you some Mother's chrome polish. The hardest thing would probably, in all honesty, be that Slowdown, which there's an acorn nut on top. You take the acorn nut off, you take that actual piece out, the actual knob or the actual valve in there, you don't have to take out. You could just try to polish it as is, and you should be good on a buffing wheel. I just recommend taking the actual faucet style off, because you know, when you're on your buffing wheel, you don't want it to hit and that shit go flying. So you know, you take that off. It's just that little acorn nut on top. Polish that thing out. It's gonna look 10 times better. Those are all little things when I'm looking at a trunk and I'm like, oh shit, that's nice, that's nice. And just taking those couple little seconds to actually see, you know, when somebody put in that detail, it looked 10 times better. You could also, if you have a chromer or if you want to reach out to Alex, he could probably send it out to chrome. It's obviously going to be a longer shipping process, because he has to take that product, send it to his chromer, and the chromer has to bring it back. And you know, sometimes we're going to keep it real. Sometimes chrome doesn't come back like it should, and he's not going to send you some fucked up shit. So he's going to be like, hey, we need to re-chrome this, and it might take a little bit of time. That's not Alex's fault. It's just, you know, when you're working with a perfectionist, that's just how shit goes sometimes. So, I mean, you know, he might send that out, and then you're going to be happy. But it looks 10 times better than ordering just right off the shelf and letting it come to you. So I would recommend, highly recommend. As far as the tier list goes, if you could chrome it, chrome it. If you can't chrome it, polish it. It's going to be pretty close. The contrast between it, there's a little bit, but it's not much. As far as like when you're looking at the depth of chrome versus polished aluminum, there's a little bit of difference, but not much. But those are all little things that I would do to my setup, you know. Setups are my favorite part of hydraulics. If you follow Kilos Media, you know, thank you first off and foremost. But second off, obviously you like hydraulic setups too, and that's why you're here. So we're gonna keep it real. I mean, you know, sometimes our significant others don't know what to get us for our birthdays, for Christmas and shit. Like I said, I'm easy. Just give me some Pesco shit, you know. I want those EQs. I want those, you know, 280s, 777s, anything Pesco related, you know, Cleveland made, Cleveland braid, you know, that's how we like to do it. So I'm good with Pescos. But let's say if you're not as easy as me, you got to go to hoppos.com. You know, that's just the fact. It's just the matter of the fact, you know. Hop on the Hoppos and get this shit, and you got to order it fast because, you know, Christmas is coming up, and, you know, shit takes longer to get to your door. So, you know, holler at Hoppos. Shouts out to Art. Shouts out to Alex. And, you know, keep it pushing. 2024, we're going to keep it live. And, you know, I also made that best hydraulic setups, you know, the video I made last year. A lot of people watch it. It actually went further than I expected. I classified CCE, Blackmagic, and Hoppos. Bro, you can look at the comments. Everybody's like, bro, fuck all these other companies. It's all about Alex at Hoppos. And, you know, when I made that video, in all honesty, I tried to base it on no bias. And shit just came out how it came out. And then the day after, Alex actually sent out, you know, a discounted code for everybody to use. And their prices were actually a little bit better than CCE, which CCE is right, you know, a stone's throw, well, about 4 or 5 hours away from me. And Alex is all the way in Carajo, you know, he's over there in LA and shit. I'm over here in Ohio. So it's a stone's throw away is not even the least. It's a plane ride away, you know. But I have gone out to Hoppos, you know. I got this drive shaft here for my Impala. I haven't put it in yet. You know, I've been slacking. If you, bro, if you know me, man, I've been slacking. Been buying too much fucking Bitcoin. But You know, I got my drive shaft. I'm probably gonna start doing some more shit because I'm getting parts in now. Because you know, there's no point of buying non-car shit right now because I'm trying to get this pilot done because I got some shit to do. So I'm trying to buy some shit. In all honesty, if you got a Pesco EQ number 8 Porsche all the way around, I'm looking for that. But I mean, I fuck with Hoppos. There's a couple people I'm building setups for here in the Cleveland area. We're using Hoppos. You know, I'll post it up on my stories and shit. Fuck Heavyweights, everything that they're doing. So this, you know, this Black Friday is over. You know, that discount's done. But you can still hop on before Christmas. And, you know, order your shit at Hoppos.com. Make sure you shout out, you know, drop down below what you'd order from Hoppos, you know. Personally, me, if I had a basic setup, like I said, I would go with them Delta covers, the zigzag ones, the zigzag bodies. I would go with the zigzag faucets, and then I would go with motor bands. I would go with the faucet style on the tank plugs. Bro, sometimes you can't tell me how many times you've been on the side of the road and you're like, fuck, man, I can't find the wrench. I can't find this. This fucking plug's too tight. That's what the little faucet one's for. Use your hands. These are the best tools that you got. They're right there. And then the end caps, if I had to pick an end cap in all honesty, there's a homie over there in Japan that makes those little, they're sweet. I think there's a Southside car. I think it's a 59. It has the, you know, the end caps on there with a fan. Those are sweet because that's actually paying homage to the aircraft. You know, they had big fan motors, the little fan motors. Pesco's primarily had them, but I think that there was some MCOs that had them. Westinghouse may have had them. There's, you know, it's just some homage paying back to the old school shit. So I really like those. But if I had to pick outside of that, let's say if I had to go through Hoppos, I would say, but I'm really feeling those like little vented ones. Polish some of those up. Those are pretty hot. I would say out of all there's the Stillman ones too. The Stillman ones are hot. It'd have to be between the Stillman and the slotted. Stillman and slotted. And those are all the things I would update, man. So, you know, holler at Hoppos. Thanks for checking out my video. Thanks for checking out me, you know, checking out this video regularly, you know, checking out the channel. You know, it's Kilos Media, holding it down. I appreciate everybody for all the support, you know. I'm always posting shit on Instagram, posting shit on Facebook. Bro, I'm out here in the Midwest, so, I mean, trying to stay busy. It's getting cold as fuck out, you know. The cats that are out there in the warm weather, man, you guys got it blessed, man. So take it easy. Peace, many blessings. Peace.